Hey, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Chris Maloney back with you for another edition of CWN Recap. WWE WrestleMania 37 Night 1 took place live last night on Peacock as well as the WWE Network. It was a longer show than expected due to this thing called Mother Nature, but it was enjoyable nonetheless. May have, quote unquote, may have shed a few tears last night, but it's goes without saying, I guess. I hope everybody enjoyed WrestleMania Night 1 last night. Night 2 obviously taking place tonight. Prediction show for WrestleMania Night 2 will take place later on this afternoon, so look for that. It was interesting and unique to see WrestleMania as WrestleMania last night, and I'm still getting goosebumps going on here. But I'll get into the show here and then talk about some of my thoughts. I didn't do the breakdown of matches like I normally do, so I didn't go like hold for hold, so to speak. I was my wife was sitting beside me. She was watching the event as well, and she was commenting on certain things, and I even looked at her. I said, you know what, I'm going to enjoy this for what it is, and if there's a highlight of the match, I'm going to remember it, and that's the way it is. So it's you're not going to be, like I said, you're not going to see me going hold for hold as far as movesets or matches today go, but I'll share my thoughts, and I'll do the same thing tomorrow for WrestleMania Night 2, the recap show there. But in saying that, I'm going to get going here. So new opening for WB WrestleMania looks to be for the WB as a whole, but then now Forever is still the theme, but it's different graphics going on and different music going on with it there. So WrestleMania, they've broken out new theme music as well. New opening anyway. So, and then we get to the panel. So 7:00 kickoff show takes place, social media, Peacock, as well as WB Network. Panel is Kayla Braxton, JBL, Booker T, King, Jerry the King Lawler. It's too many Kings going on there. Jerry the King Lawler, and then Pete Rosenberg. And they announced Hall of Famer. Hey, Pete. So Peter Rosenberg's, but he's a journalist. He's a guy who's got his own radio show. So it's got to be cool for him. I mean, he's 24/7 champion at one point, but it's got to be cool for him to be able to sit on that panel the way he does. 7:45 p.m. ish, and back and forth. As the kickoff is taking place, I'm sitting there on my phone. I'm watching the TV. The TV shows absolutely nothing, okay? But my phone on Twitter is blowing up, and it's like the weather. And I'm like, okay, you know what? I'm not seeing it as far as the the show itself goes. So props to WB for doing something like that. But Sonya Deville hits the panel. Peter Rosenberg is replaced briefly there. And Sonya Deville hits the panel, and she's dressed. She's jacked to the nines, but the fact is, you can see her hair is pretty much soaked. You can see the weather taking effect there. This was at 7:45, so she comes on the panel briefly. She throws a few comments there, and then she leaves. And then by 7:50, Rosenberg is back, and then the King has announced that the rain has stopped. So that was pretty cool because, like I said, Twitter was blowing up at this point. Main show hits 8:00. Whole WB roster is on the top of the entrance ramp. Vince welcomes us. Like I said, I may have shed a few tears. Honest to God, I looked at my wife. I said, just give me a couple of minutes. And it's just, a long 13 months of COVID-19 and the effect it's had on wrestling. I've been following this since the age of 4 years old, and I can pretty much name every single main event for WrestleMania as well as every single city it took place in. It's just the way it is. So when I was watching it last night, yes, I got a little bit emotional, and I might have had some drinks into me as well, but I was going to get emotional no matter what, and getting emotional right now. So just seeing everybody on stage and seeing WrestleMania back as WrestleMania, and it was absolutely awesome. But whole roster, including Night 2 participants, including Jinder Mahal was there as well, which was surprising. Whole WB rosters on the top of the entrance ramp. Vince welcomes us. Green guy is there. I put with exclamation marks. So if you ever watch WB pay-per-view, you'll see front and center normally there's a guy dressed in a green shirt, a little smiley face on there. So it's just basically two eyes and a mouth. He's always got the same hat going on. He's wearing his mask, but he's back, and it's like everything's falling into place again, BB comes out, sings the national anthem. She's got a guitarist with her. Cold Open is a play on last year, so they do the the Johnny Depp character, the captain there, and that it was kind of like, it wasn't his voice, but it was kind of play on his voice. And it was last year, and the next thing you know, last year's WrestleMania, they go like everything's going to be different, and then they do the same thing kind of this year, but they do a new play on it as well. So that guy's originally cold open has been changed twice now, but it got you hyped up for WrestleMania. And I mean, you watch the kickoff show, you watch Vince McMahon, you watch the national anthem, or sorry, America the Well, no, it was the national anthem there. And then Michael Cole, Byron Saxton, Samoa Joe welcome us on commentary. And then they state a delay is taking place due to the weather. And it's like, so WrestleMania can't even take place, even though they're there. And anyways, it's interesting because this was at 8 o'clock, like probably 8:05 ish, and King had said at 7:50 that the rain had stopped, but it's a lot of security measures were in place as well, and I'll get to those momentarily here. Not sure if I'm 100% accurate about them, but it makes sense. But anyways, like I said, rain delay, so commentators they have to go backstage and back and forth at this point. So backstage we have Sarah Schreiber, who's with Shane McMahon. He gets interrupted by Lashley and MVP. They get interrupted by Drew McIntyre. Says this match is going to take place. He doesn't care if it happens backstage. This is Drew McIntyre saying this. They get broken up by Jessica Carr and Jamie Noble, and then there's an emotional interview by Drew. So basically, he's on camera, and he's basically saying that this match is going to take place, but being in front of the fans and being in that venue, the stadium there, he's worked up and he just wants to get on with it. And emotional moment by Drew. And I should say this as well, just while I'm talking about this, Rhea Ripley, when they were showing the roster and the national anthem taking place, America the Beautiful, they had Rhea Ripley was shown at one point, and she was emotional. So it's I mean, like I said, there were some tears shed last night. We go back to the panel. Kayla Braxton, Pete Rosenberg, JBL are on there. Then we go backstage once again. Kevin Patrick and the New Day. They get joined by Big E. My wife at this point had commented, she was like, it's weird. It's only the two of them. And then Big E pops up out of nowhere. So we get the full New Day. And this was at 8:20. So I was keeping track of the time at this point. Commentary comes back. Cole calls it WrestleMania. And I was like, geez. Backstage again, we go to Sarah and Braun. Then we go to the panel, Kayla, JBL, and Rosenberg once again. Then we go backstage. It's Kevin Patrick and Kevin Owens. Commentators, we get back to seeing once again Cole and Joe in ponchos at this point. Braxton's mic has died less than 5 minutes till showtime announced. So this was officially announced by, I believe, Cole. We go backstage once again. It's Sarah and Bianca. Backstage again, Kevin Patrick and Rollins. Rollins refers to Kevin as Mike, so he keeps calling him Mike. Backstage once again, Sarah, Miz, and Morrison. This is at 8:29 p.m. Then all of a sudden we get a promo for Drew and Lashley. We come back. Commentators, all three are there. No ponchos. And then Hamilton announces Titus O'Neil and Hulk Hogan as the hosts. Is at 8:35 p.m. They welcome everybody, and then they say we're back in business live. And we finally get to first match there. So first match is Drew McIntyre challenging Bobby Lashley, the almighty Bobby Lashley, for the WWE Championship here. Drew comes out first. It's 8:40 p.m. So a little bit past what they wanted to do as far as timing goes, but the event is happening. I took note, ring skirts and the posts are all old school, so non-LED. So I was sitting there, I was talking to my wife, and I was like, you know what? They must have done this with regards to basically, security measures with regards, because you don't want lightning hitting a post, So the ring itself was non-electrical. So they had the old school posts and then the old school ring skirts. So no LED electronics as far as the ring itself went. And then the announcers, which was kind of interesting, were standing in front of the announce desk. And I don't know if they were doing this all night, but they were doing it at least for during the first match. Somebody made a comment on Twitter that their chairs were wet, and it's like, I don't think that was it at all. It might have just been the way that the wind was blowing the rain in, because there's certain spots you could see, especially outside, that the ring mats were wet. And then inside the ring, not the whole entire ring, but there were parts of the ring that were wet as well. So it might have just been something to do with that. It might have had something to do with the electrical and they're just being safe. But anyways, it was weird seeing the announcers in front of the announce desk there, standing. And then, anyways, match takes place. Lashley retains with the Hurt Lock after Drew passes out. So this was interesting because I went into the prediction show stating, I said Drew McIntyre, they're going to give him his WrestleMania moment. But in theory, he had his WrestleMania moment last year. And Lashley, some of the podcasters who I was listening to this past week were saying, hey, don't be surprised if Lashley retains. And it was a strong back and forth match. It was what it was. A lot of hard hitting. At one point, McIntyre completely missed the Claymore, and Lashley capitalized. Lashley, I think twice he had the Hurt Lock in, and then the second time, as opposed to making Drew look weak, they made him look strong. He didn't tap. I didn't think he was going to tap, and he ended up tapping out, or not tapping out, but passing out instead. So we have Lashley retaining, and Drew McIntyre, I think at the end of the match, was just laying in front of the ring, kind of disappointed with himself. But it's interesting because now they can continue this feud, so to speak. But it's going to be interesting to see where they go on Monday with regards to these two guys. But Lashley looked strong, and he looked like a champion. So good for him, and especially after all the amount of time that it took him to win that championship there. Then we go backstage, NWO, Bayley, Titus. So that was a weird segment. So Bayley, my wife, looks up. She goes, what's wrong with this girl? And I just kind of laughed, and I couldn't tell her, hey, you've seen her before live, But it was the NWO, Bayley, and Titus. And then Bayley's trying to basically befriend, so to speak, the NWO and Titus, and they're just kind of like, yeah, whatever. I think X-Pac was the only one who kind of was like, hey, okay, yeah, whatever, So anyways, then we go to match number 2 of the night, tag team turmoil match. We get commentators Cole and Graves. So Corey Graves makes his first appearance of the night. First out was Naomi and Lana. Second was Carmella and Billie Kay. Kay gets pinned by Naomi. Riot Squad is out next. Riot pins Billie Kay at that point. So it was interesting to see Lana and Naomi get pinned early on, but and then all of a sudden Billie Kay doesn't last too long. Billie Kay, it was funny with Carmella because she's trying to mimic Carmella during the match, during the entrance, but Billie Kay was dressed in this yellow outfit. She kind of just looked completely out of place. I mean, here was somebody who was part of the Iconics, right? So when I say she looked out of place, it just, a different character for Billie Kay. But anyways, so Riot pins Billie Kay, so they're gone. Mandy and Dana are out next. It's basically a crap show at this point. Mandy trips on the entrance ramp coming down. Then they get to the ring. They're both wearing these pink outfits that are completely matching. I'm like, okay, this isn't going to work well. And go on social media, go on to Google. My wife did a Google search like moments after stuff happened, and it was already on there. But it's the internet, how quick it is. But long story short, you could see a tattoo on the butt of Dana. You could also, she had a wardrobe malfunction as well, which kind of sucked. But I was telling my wife, it's like, women athletes, so to speak, should be dressed as women athletes. And that's not a knock, but it's like you come out in outfits like that and you expect stuff not to happen. It happened, and it didn't look too good for them. And they weren't in the ring too long. So Liv pins Dana Brooke. So Tamina and Natalya come out next. And then to top it off, Tamina hits the splash on Ruby for the 3 count. I'm thinking to myself, here comes Charlotte, here comes Bayley, here comes Becky. Nothing. And they put up the graphic on the screen that we got Tamina as well as Natalya challenging tonight Nia Jax as well as Shayna Baszler with regards to the women's tag team championships there. Match number 3 of the night, Rollins versus Cesaro. Cesaro swing, neutralizer, 3 count. That is how the match ended. Cesaro looks super strong in this one, hitting a lot of uppercuts. Ends up hitting the Cesaro swing. Cole had counted 23 times, so that was kind of cool. He had done it twice in the match. The first time, I don't know if he lost his balance, whatever the case may be, and Cole didn't kind of hype it up. But fact is, when it came down to it, Cesaro at one point was set up for the curb stomp. Seth Rollins misses. Like I said, highlights of the match were Cesaro hitting the swing 23 times, and then it made him look strong at the end with the Cesaro swing, followed by the neutralizer, followed by the 3 count, and that was the end of Seth Rollins. So good for them for making Cesaro look strong here. Backstage, we go Kayla and the Dirty Dogs. So they're talking about their championship win this past Friday on SmackDown. Match number 4 was the New Day versus Styles and Omos, putting the tag team championships on the line. Entrance by Big E. So Big E came out and did the entrance for the New Day, which was cool. Almost comes out with a suit and chain. So there was a lot of talk about what Almost's attire was going to look like for this match, and he basically comes out looking the exact same. But he gets into the ring, he removes the jacket. So to start the match, he teases coming in, but it ends up being Styles and Kingston at the very beginning of the match. They continuously work AJ Styles, almost just standing there on the ring apron there. It's they're teasing tags, and basically the New Day are capitalizing and just basically beating up on AJ Styles, and like I said, it's all Styles early on as far as being in the ring goes. New Day continuously blocked the tag to Omos, so that's the story of the match so far. Woods in, and then Omos finally comes in, and then Omos hits a huge choke slam bomb on Kingston. Not sure if that's the official name, but it's basically puts him up and then drops him down, and then AJ's on the apron there. He says, and he's basically like, pin him with one foot. So Omos excuse me. Almost stands there, puts the one foot on top of Kingston, and then we get new tag team champions. And then basically we get AJ Styles jumping on the shoulders of Omos, and you see the graphics on WWE.com of the two of them celebrating there. WWE 2K22 announced after this match, and I don't know if I saw it. I mean, it was I might have been watching TV, but I don't think I might have. I maybe checking Twitter. I don't know if I went to the washroom at this point, but I didn't see it. And all of a sudden, I was on the news websites today, and the next thing I know, I see WWE 2K22 has been announced. I'm like, holy crap! So the promo commercial, so to speak, is on YouTube right now, WWE.com as well, and it basically is Rey Mysterio taking on Cesaro in the match. That's the graphics that they're showing. But yeah, no announced date yet. Usually it's towards October if it's towards what they've done in the past there. So it'll be October of this year. But yeah, WWE 2K22 officially coming back. So I'm excited about that. One of my Christmas presents I always get for my wife is the WWE 2K series game. Last year it was Battlegrounds, but this year it will be 2K22. So excited about that. Match number 5 of the night, Braun taking on Shane. King on commentary. So Jerry the King commentary. He's with Brandon. Brax. Why did I Saxton? Oh, like I can't think of his name right now. Cole and Saxton. Yes, anyways, okay, so King on commentary, Cole and Saxton. Strowman attacked pre-match by Elias as well as Riker. White buckets on top of every corner of the cage, which was kind of weird. Shane uses a toolbox from one of them, goes to escape. Braun then rips the cage apart. So he literally ripped one of the panels of the cage down, hauls Shane in through that opening now, drags him to the top of the cage, tosses him off of the ring with a running, tosses him off into the ring, and then hits a running power slam for a 3 count. So, you know, I can't say anything negative about this match other than me not pronouncing Saxon's name right. But with regards to it, it was short, it was sweet. Braun looked powerful. You know, Shane was using sneaky tactics, of course, but in the end, Braun looked strong. So, you know, it's a good, strong showing for the monster among men, so to speak. But yeah, Braun with the win in the cage match there. Then we get the class of 2020 honored on stage. NWO get the main event entrance there. So that was kind of cool. Match number 6 of the night, semi-main event, Bad Bunny and Booker T. Why did I put Bad Bunny and Booker T? Bad Bunny and Damien Priest. Literally on my notes I put Bad Bunny and Booker T, but it's because Booker T was on commentary. So anyways, Bad Bunny and Damien Priest taking on The Miz and Morrison. Booker T on commentary with Cole and Joe. Multiple bunnies arrive ringside to start it out, and then Miz and Morrison enter first. Promo plays. Priest enters, and then basically Bad Bunny enters on a big rig, fireworks, huge entrance. So they made a huge deal about Bad Bunny being at WrestleMania there. Bunny and Miz start, and at the end, Bunny Destroyer in the final seconds outside on Morrison. Miz looks shocked on the inside of the ring. Bunny and Priest, LOD crossbody finisher on Miz for a 3 count. So the moves that Bad Bunny had hit in this match were absolutely insane. They were amazing. It was cool to see because of the fact, they hyped up. They say he's been training at the Performance Center every single day. But then when you look at the athletic ability of Bad Bunny, in my point of view, so to speak, he did well, and props to him. And like I said, the prediction show, I've got nothing against Bad Bunny being in WWE. I think he did phenomenal. In fact, he made himself look like a star last night. WWE made him look like a star last night. So it'll be interesting. I don't think there's going to be anything more as far as Bad Bunny goes, as far as WWE right now goes. You know, maybe something in the future. But anyways, it was good showing for Bad Bunny last night. Main event time, Sasha and Bianca Belair highlight. And I'm getting text for whatever reason. Highlight is Bianca catching Sasha at one point, press slamming her, walking up the steps, and then tossing her back into the ring. So back and forth in the end. Cole with a huge mess up call. That's not the word I use, but a huge mess up call on Bianca hitting the KOD. And anyways, long story short, Bianca hits the KOD for the win. Cole messed up the call. He was like, and she's celebrating the pin. When they showed the replay, she had actually got the pin legitimately on Sasha Banks. I don't know where Cole's head was at. I don't know if he was too excited. I don't know if the rain had sunk in but anyways, it's I'm thinking to myself, they're going to replace Phillips on Raw. I think Cole needs to be replaced as well if he's messing up main event calls at WrestleMania at that. And give it a term in golf called a mulligan. Give it a mulligan, whatever the case may be. But he messed up the finish as far as that call went. So it'll be interesting to see the replays, how they fix the audio on that. But anyways, long story short, Sasha looks strong, Bianca looks strong, but they made Bianca look like a superstar. So in the end, it was Bianca hitting the KOD for the win to become new SmackDown Women's Champion there. So guys, that was WrestleMania Night 1. Like I said, it was a different approach for me, not taking notes, and it's because I wanted to enjoy the show last night, but you still hear my thoughts as well as the match results taking place on CWN Recap, WrestleMania 37 Night 1 here. So as I do every single recap show, I always do my match of the night, I always do my wrestler of the night, match of the night, Sasha Banks, Bianca Belair. Hands down, it was the main event. Bad Bunny match to me would have been close. Cesaro taking on Seth Rollins would have been close as well. But to me, in the end, it had to be Sasha Banks and Bianca Belair. And you kind of know where I'm going with my wrestler of the night. Of course, it's going to be Bianca Belair, wrestler of the night right there. It's hard to argue with that for Bianca Belair not being wrestler of the night. I mean, she did it all. She won the Rumble. She looked strong. She made herself look like a superstar, and she ends up winning the SmackDown Women's Championship in the main event there. So as always, guys, check me out at Chris Maloney, CWN on social media. I will be back for the prediction show for Night 2 of WrestleMania, as well as the recap show tomorrow for WrestleMania Night 2. But it was an enjoyable night. It was an enjoyable show. And if you haven't seen it, go back and watch it. You have a lot of time between now and the beginning of WrestleMania Night 2. But check it out, and definitely check out the main event because it was well worth it there. So, guys, that's it for CWN Recap WrestleMania. It's 37 Night 1. Like I said, I'll be back with the prediction show for Night 2 as well as the recap show for Night 2 tomorrow. So, guys, thanks a lot for listening and watching. We will talk again sometime soon.